The WLBT television station in Jackson, Mississippi is a critical civil rights story. Following the Brown versus Board of Education decision in 1954, there of course was an effort to integrate public institutions. During that time, there was creation of white citizens councils right after the Supreme Court case, and they were made up of business leaders, political leaders, including some members of the media as well. In the case of the media, WLBT, the station manager was a man named Fred Beard, who was a member of the local White Citizens Council. And so he would ensure his airwaves were being used to defend the views of segregationists. One of the local NAACP leaders, Medgar Evers, the iconic civil rights leader, actually tries several times using a policy called the fairness doctrine to say when the station broadcasts controversial issues that they have to represent both sides. Recently, he's no longer on the books. So whenever WLBT would put the views of segregationists on there to oppose things like the integration of the Little Rock High School in Arkansas, right? Medgar Evers would call on the station to provide them time to respond. The goal of these broadcast stations was to uphold a white racial caste system in the South, a white racial hierarchy. Finally, in 1963, after the mayor of the city was denouncing efforts by local civil rights leaders and others to integrate institutions in Jackson, Medgar Evers again was asking broadcast stations to allow him to respond. WLBT this time relented. They allowed him on the air. And Medgar Evers got on the air in 1963, and he spoke for about 17 minutes denouncing segregation. It made him a big threat. It made him a big target. And 3 weeks, less than a month after he appeared on WLBT, he was assassinated in his driveway. So the year after Medgar Evers was assassinated in 1964, the United Church of Christ worked with local Black civil rights leaders and filed a license challenge against WLBT. 2 years later, in 1966, a federal court actually ruled that for the first time ever, that U.S. citizens had standing to challenge a broadcast license, and it was a monumental decision. After all different lawsuits, the license was revoked in 1969. By the late 1970s, the station actually ended up being owned by a majority Black company. The decision was monumental because it gave folks across the country the ability to challenge their local broadcasters as well. It really contributed to the first wave of integration of Black and Latino journalists in broadcast newsrooms across the country. You're a person in media, a media scholar, a journalist, a racial justice leader. This is a story that I think people need to know that too many people do not know.